You believe you understand power. You do not. Not yet. What you have witnessed is the theater of power, the performance, the spectacle designed to distract you from where true dominance originates. Real power does not announce itself with raised voices or clenched fists. It moves through silence, through patience, through the careful architecture of perception. Niccolo Machiavelli understood this centuries ago when he whispered truths that made princes tremble and philosophers recoil. He saw the world not as it pretends to be, but as it actually operates. A chessboard where morality is decoration and strategy is survival. You have been taught to play by rules that do not exist. You have been conditioned to believe that goodness is rewarded, that honesty creates safety, that showing your heart builds trust. These are beautiful lies told to keep you manageable, predictable, easy to control. The world does not bend to the virtuous. It bends to those who understand the mechanics of influence, the psychology of fear and desire, the silent language of power that most never learn to speak. This is not about becoming cruel. Cruelty is the weapon of the weak, those who lack the intelligence to dominate without noise. This is about becoming untouchable, unreadable, strategically superior in every interaction. This is about ensuring that you are never again the one caught off guard, never again the one manipulated, never again the one who loses because you were too naive to see the game being played around you. What follows are 10 laws, not suggestions, not advice, but laws forged from centuries of observation, from the rise and fall of empires, from the quiet victories of those who shaped history while others merely reacted to it. These laws will not make you popular. They will make you formidable. They will not earn you applause. They will earn you respect born from the instinctive recognition that you are not someone to be trifled with. Master these and you become mentally unstoppable. Ignore them and you remain a piece on someone else's board. The first law is simple in words but requires a lifetime to master. Never reveal your full intention. The moment you expose your complete strategy, you hand others the map to your destruction. Transparency is not virtue in the realm of power. It is vulnerability dressed as honesty. Every word you speak, every goal you announce, every plan you share becomes ammunition in the hands of those who smile while calculating your downfall. Watch how the powerful move. They speak in layers. Their public statements contain just enough truth to seem genuine, just enough ambiguity to remain flexible. They announce victories only after securing them. They discuss plans only when misdirection serves them. They understand that information is currency, and you do not scatter currency to strangers hoping for goodwill. You invest it strategically, revealing only what advances your position. This does not mean you become silent. Silence itself can reveal intention. It means you become layered, complex, impossible to fully read. You share enough to seem open, enough to build rapport, but never enough to expose your true architecture. Your real goals remain hidden 3 levels beneath what you allow others to see. When they think they understand you, they understand only the version you constructed for their consumption. Practice this in small interactions first. When someone asks your plans, give them a version that satisfies curiosity without revealing leverage points. When someone probes your weaknesses, redirect with questions that expose theirs. When someone seeks your opinion on a sensitive matter, offer perspective that commits you to nothing. You are not lying. You are simply refusing to disarm yourself for their comfort. Over time, this becomes instinct. You will notice yourself naturally filtering information, automatically assessing what serves you to share and what serves you to withhold. People will find you fascinating because they can never quite grasp you completely. And in that fascination, in that inability to predict you, you gain the advantage that determines who controls the interaction. The second law cuts against everything you have been taught about relationships. Trust no one completely. This sounds cynical until you understand it properly. This is not about living in paranoia or treating everyone as an enemy. This is about recognizing that human loyalty is conditional, that circumstances change people, that today's ally can become tomorrow's threat not through malice but through shifting interests. Machiavelli observed that princes who trusted absolutely were the ones who died suddenly. Not because everyone is evil, but because trust creates blind spots, and blind spots create opportunities for betrayal. Even those who love you have their own survival instincts, their own pressures, their own moments of weakness where your interests become negotiable. The strategically intelligent do not eliminate trust. They calibrate it. They trust people with exactly as much as those people have proven they can handle. They verify loyalty not through words but through patterns observed over time under varying conditions. They understand that trust is not binary, not all or nothing, but a spectrum that requires constant assessment. You will have people in your life worthy of deep trust, but even with them, you maintain a small chamber of self that remains yours alone. Your core strategies, your ultimate contingencies, your final vulnerabilities, these you guard even from those closest to you. Not because you expect betrayal, but because protection of self is the foundation of all power. The moment you need someone else to keep you safe, you have already lost sovereignty. This law creates loneliness at first. You will feel isolated knowing things you cannot share, maintaining boundaries others find cold. But this loneliness is the price of never being destroyed by misplaced faith. And over time it transforms from loneliness into solitude and solitude into strength. You become the fortress that needs no external walls because the architecture within is impenetrable. Watch how people respond when you apply this law. Some will sense your boundaries and respect them, revealing their own strategic intelligence. Others will push against them, trying to extract information or commitment, revealing their desire to control you. Both responses give you information. Both tell you how to categorize them in your mental hierarchy of relationships. The third law is where most fail because it requires killing a part of yourself that society has trained you to protect. Emotion is a tool, not a guide. You have been taught to honor your feelings, to let them flow, to express them as authenticity. This is correct advice for poets and children. It is suicide for anyone seeking to operate effectively in environments where others are calculating your every move. Emotion is not your enemy. Suppressing emotion creates the explosion that destroys you when pressure accumulates beyond your capacity to contain it. But allowing emotion to dictate your actions, your words, your decisions. This is handing control of your life to whatever external force knows how to trigger you. And everyone is studying what triggers you, whether they admit it or not. The powerful feel emotion as deeply as anyone. Anger, fear, desire, jealousy, love, all of it moves through them. The difference is that they feel it, acknowledge it, and then decide whether acting on it serves their interest. Emotion becomes data. Anger tells them something threatened their boundary. Fear tells them they are near something important. Desire tells them what they value. But none of these feelings are allowed to bypass the command center of strategic thought. You must train this separation. When someone insults you and rage rises, you feel it completely. Then you ask, does responding serve me or serve their goal of destabilizing me? When someone offers you something you desperately want and excitement floods you, you feel it completely. Then you ask, what is the cost hidden beneath this gift? When fear whispers that you should retreat, you feel it completely. Then you ask, is this wisdom or is this the resistance that appears before every expansion? This is not coldness. This is mastery. The person who controls their emotional responses controls the interaction. The person who reacts emotionally is being played, whether the other person intends it or not. You become the player, not the instrument. People will call you calculating when you master this law. They will say you have changed, that you are not as warm, that something is different. What they mean is they can no longer manipulate you through emotional leverage. What they mean is you stopped being an easy target. Accept their discomfort as confirmation of your evolution. The fourth law requires you to abandon the fantasy of fairness, appear weaker than you are. Strength that advertises itself creates resistance, envy, and coordinated opposition. Strength that hides beneath a humble exterior moves through the world encountering far less friction, gathering information while others underestimate, positioning itself while others dismiss it. This is not about becoming a victim or accepting disrespect. This is about strategic misdirection. When people believe you are less capable than you are, they reveal information they would otherwise guard. They speak freely around you, assuming you lack the intelligence to use what you hear. They lower their defenses, assuming you lack the capacity to threaten. They underestimate your next move, giving you the element of surprise that often determines victory. Watch how the truly powerful carry themselves in rooms where their power is not yet established. They listen more than they speak. They ask questions that seem naive but extract valuable information. They allow others to take credit for ideas they planted. They smile at condescension while mentally cataloging who underestimated them for future reference. This law requires ego death. Your ego wants recognition now, wants others to know how intelligent you are, how capable, how dangerous. Your ego is a liability. It trades long-term strategic advantage for short-term emotional satisfaction. Kill it. Not through self-hatred, but through recognizing that true power does not need witnesses. You will know you have mastered this law when someone dismisses you to your face and you feel nothing but satisfaction. They just revealed their hand while you kept yours hidden. They just gave you the advantage of being underestimated, which is among the most valuable positions in any competitive environment. Let them think you are weak. Let them learn otherwise when it is too late for them to adjust. There is a timing to revealing your actual capacity. You hide it during the preparation phase, during the information gathering phase, during the positioning phase. You reveal it only at the moment of decisive action, when revelation creates maximum impact and your opposition has minimum time to counter. Until that moment, you are content to be underestimated, overlooked, dismissed, because you understand that the lion does not announce itself to the herd before it strikes. The fifth law governs how you move through social space. Control the narrative, never defend against it. The moment you find yourself explaining, justifying, defending your actions or character, you have already lost the frame. You have accepted that others have the authority to judge you, that their opinion holds weight, that you require their approval to proceed. Narrative is everything, not truth, narrative. The story people tell themselves about you determines how they treat you, what opportunities they offer you, what threats they pose. And narratives are not built on facts. They are built on perception, on the most compelling story, on whatever version spreads most easily through social networks. When someone attacks your reputation or questions your motives, your instinct is to defend, to explain, to prove them wrong with facts and logic. This instinct will destroy you because defense validates the attack. It signals that the accusation has merit worth addressing. It puts you in a reactive position where they set the terms and you scramble to meet them. Instead, you do one of three things. You ignore it completely, signaling that it is beneath your notice and unworthy of energy. You reframe it, shifting the conversation to a different aspect that favors you. Or you counterattack, not against their accusation but against their credibility, their motives, their right to speak on the matter. All three options maintain your frame. None accept their premise. This requires immense discipline. When someone lies about you and others believe it, every fiber of your being wants to shout the truth. Resist. Ask yourself, does this narrative actually threaten my goals, or does it just threaten my ego? If it threatens your goals, you act strategically to undermine it, not through defense, but through demonstrating a different reality that makes their narrative look foolish. If it only threatens your ego, you ignore it completely, because ego protection is not a strategic priority. You will watch narratives collapse under their own weight when you refuse to feed them with your defensive energy. You will watch accusers lose credibility when you remain unbothered. You will watch public opinion shift when you control your own story through action rather than explanation. The powerful do not explain themselves. They act, and their actions create the narrative. They build such a strong pattern of results that alternative narratives cannot take root. They understand that reputation is built not through managing what people say, but through consistently demonstrating who you are until the evidence becomes undeniable. The sixth law is about resource management, but not the resources you think. Cultivate strategic patience. The world is full of people who move too quickly, who reveal their hand too early, who strike before the moment is right. They mistake activity for progress, urgency for importance, speed for power, and they lose to those who know how to wait. Patience is not passivity. Patience is not fear disguised as caution. Patience is the active discipline of allowing circumstances to develop until they favor you, of watching your opposition exhaust themselves, of refusing to act until action carries maximum impact with minimum risk. Machiavelli noted that many princes fell not because they were weak, but because they were impatient. They moved before their position was secure. They attacked before their enemy was vulnerable. They celebrated before victory was complete. and in that premature action they created the opening that destroyed them. You must develop the capacity to sit in discomfort without moving to relieve it. When someone provokes you, your instinct is immediate response. Train yourself to pause, to let the moment breathe, to respond only after you have calculated the optimal move. When an opportunity appears, your instinct is to seize it immediately. Train yourself to examine it, to understand why it appeared now, to verify it is not bait in a larger trap. This law separates the tactical from the strategic. Tactical thinking is about winning the immediate moment. Strategic thinking is about positioning yourself so that winning becomes inevitable. Tactical thinking responds to now. Strategic thinking shapes what now becomes. You will feel pressure from others to move faster, to decide now, to commit immediately. This pressure is often deliberate, designed to force you into action before you are ready. Resist it. Those who rush you are either incompetent or adversarial. Either way, their urgency is not your emergency. Watch how the powerful handle time. They take calls when they choose, not when the phone rings. They make decisions on their timeline, not when others demand answers. They move slowly in preparation and explosively in execution. They understand that the side which controls tempo controls the outcome. Your patience will be tested. Opportunities will appear to vanish. Others will seem to move ahead while you wait. Doubt will whisper that you are being left behind. Ignore all of it. You are not racing against others. You are positioning for the moment when your move cannot be countered, and that moment is worth waiting for. The seventh law addresses the foundation of all social power. Master the art of strategic absence. Your presence, your attention, your availability. These are your most valuable resources. And like all valuable resources, scarcity increases their worth. When you are always available, always responsive, always present, you train others to devalue you. This law operates on a simple psychological principle. People value what they cannot easily access. They desire what withdraws from them. They pursue what does not pursue them. When you are scarce, when your time is clearly valuable, when access to you must be earned, your perceived status rises automatically. This is not about playing games or manipulating through artificial scarcity. This is about genuinely valuing your time and attention so highly that you allocate them only to what serves your strategic goals. Most people scatter their presence across dozens of meaningless interactions, always saying yes, always available, always accommodating. And they wonder why no one respects them. You must become selective to the point of seeming unreasonable. Not every meeting deserves your attendance. Not every message deserves immediate response. Not every request deserves consideration. You filter ruthlessly, and what does not pass your filter receives nothing, not explanation, not apology, simply nothing. When you do appear, when you do grant your attention, the impact is magnified because it is rare. Your words carry more weight because you speak less. Your presence commands more attention because it is not guaranteed. People begin to compete for your time rather than assuming access to it. This law also protects you from energy vampires, from those who would drain your capacity through endless demands disguised as friendship or professional obligation. When you are scarce, these people naturally filter themselves out. They move on to easier targets, leaving you with relationships that actually provide value rather than extract it. You will lose some relationships when you implement this law. People who benefited from your constant availability will complain that you have changed, that you are not as giving, that you have become distant. They are correct. You have stopped allowing them to treat your time as worthless. Their complaint is evidence of your success. The eighth law requires you to see human interaction as it actually functions rather than how you wish it function. Never appear too perfect. Perfection creates distance, suspicion, and envy. It makes you unrelatable and therefore difficult to trust. It signals that you are hiding something because everyone has flaws, and those who show none are simply better at concealment. Strategic vulnerability is one of the most powerful tools in social influence. When you reveal a flaw, a mistake, a struggle, you create connection. You become human rather than threatening. You lower the defenses of others because you have lowered yours, or appeared to. And in that moment of connection, influence becomes possible. But this vulnerability must be calculated. You do not reveal your actual weaknesses, the flaws that could be exploited to destroy you. You reveal acceptable weaknesses, humanizing imperfections that create relatability without creating vulnerability. You admit to being disorganized in areas that do not matter. You confess to struggles that are already obvious. You show frustration with problems that do not expose your core strategy. This law is about controlling what people see when they look for your weakness, because they are looking. Everyone is. And if you show them nothing, they imagine something worse than reality. They create narratives about what you must be hiding. But if you show them a flaw, a small one you have chosen, their search often ends there. They believe they have seen behind the curtain, and they stop looking for the real vulnerabilities you keep hidden. Watch how skilled politicians use this law. They admit to minor scandals to distract from major ones. They confess to relatable struggles to build connection with voters. They show emotion at calculated moments to seem genuine. And it works because humans are wired to trust those who show imperfection more than those who claim to have none. You must develop the skill of strategic disclosure. What can you reveal that makes you more relatable without making you more vulnerable? What struggles can you share that build connection without exposing weakness? What flaws can you admit that humanize you without giving others leverage? This is not dishonesty. You are genuinely flawed, as all humans are. You are simply choosing which flaws to display and which to guard. You are managing perception to ensure that what people see serves your goals rather than undermines them. The ninth law is perhaps the most difficult, because it requires you to act against your immediate interest for long-term gain. Create dependence, not fear. Fear is the tool of the unsophisticated. It works quickly but collapses suddenly. The moment you can no longer threaten, the moment your capacity for punishment diminishes, those who feared you become your enemies. Fear creates obedience, not loyalty. Dependence is far more durable. When people need you, when their success or comfort or security relies on your continued favor, they remain aligned. With you not from fear but from self-interest, and self-interest is the most reliable motivator in human behavior. This means you position yourself as the source of something valuable that others cannot easily obtain elsewhere. Information, access, resources, protection, opportunity, whatever you control that others need. You become the gateway, the connection, the essential node in their network. And once they depend on you, their loyalty becomes automatic, because betraying you threatens their own position. This requires generosity, but calculated generosity. You give, but you give in ways that create ongoing need rather than final satisfaction. You solve problems, but you solve them in ways that ensure future problems still require your involvement. You provide value, but you provide it in forms that cannot be easily replicated or replaced. Watch how corporations create dependence through proprietary systems, through ecosystems that lock users in, through network effects that make leaving costly. Apply the same principle to your personal and professional relationships. Become difficult to replace, not through fear of what you might do, but through the reality of what others would lose. This law also protects you from betrayal. When your value to others is clear and ongoing, when they understand that their welfare is tied to yours, betrayal becomes irrational. They might dislike you, they might disagree with you, but they cannot afford to destroy you without destroying themselves. You will know you have mastered this law when people who do not particularly like you still protect your interests because your interests and theirs have become intertwined. When your success becomes their success, when your fall would damage them, you have created the kind of loyalty that does not require affection. The 10th and final law synthesizes everything that came before it. Maintain the appearance of morality while practicing strategic amorality. The world runs on power, but it pretends to run on virtue. Those who openly embrace ruthlessness are destroyed by collective opposition. Those who practice ruthlessness while appearing virtuous shape the world. This is not hypocrisy. This is understanding that humans need to believe in goodness even when they practice calculation. They need to tell themselves that their actions serve higher purposes, that their self-interest aligns with justice, that their victories are deserved, not just achieved. Give them that narrative. Let them believe you are moral, principled, guided by values, and operate beneath that appearance with pure, strategic clarity. Your public face speaks of fairness, integrity, loyalty, honor. Your private calculations consider only effectiveness, advantage, positioning, outcome. You are not lying about your values. You simply understand that values are tools for social cohesion, and you use them as such while refusing to be constrained by them when constraint would mean defeat. This law requires sophisticated judgment. You must know when moral appearance serves you and when it limits you. You must know which audiences require which presentation. You must know how to speak the language of virtue while thinking the language of power. And you must never confuse the two, never begin to believe your own performance, never let the mask become the face. Watch how successful leaders operate. They speak constantly of values, of doing the right thing, of serving others. And they make ruthless decisions that sacrifice individuals for organizational success, that prioritize outcomes over relationships, that advance their position while claiming to serve higher purposes. The contradiction is not weakness, it is sophistication. You will feel cognitive dissonance when you first practice this law. Your conditioning runs deep. You have been taught that integrity means consistency between word and deed, that honor means constraining yourself by principles even when they disadvantage you. These teachings serve those who rule, not those who seek to rule. Integrity in the strategic sense means being integrated, whole, effective. It means your actions serve your goals. It means you are not scattered or conflicted or paralyzed by abstract principles when concrete action is required. And honor means keeping your word when doing so builds your reputation for reliability, which is itself a strategic asset. The most dangerous people in any hierarchy are those who appear most harmless, most principled, most devoted to the collective good. Because beneath that appearance, they are calculating every move, leveraging every relationship, positioning for every opportunity. And by the time others realize what happened, the game is already over. These 10 laws are not complete in themselves. They are frameworks, foundations upon which you build your own strategic intelligence. You will find situations where they conflict, where applying one law requires violating another. In those moments, you must think like Machiavelli himself, not following rules, but understanding principles deeply enough to know when and how to break them. You will face criticism for thinking this way. People who have never studied power will call you manipulative, cold, Machiavellian, as if it were an insult. Let them. Their moral posturing is often a cover for their own impotence, their inability to achieve what they want, their resentment toward those who can. You are not becoming evil. Evil is causing harm for its own sake, finding pleasure in destruction, lacking any purpose beyond cruelty. You are becoming effective. You are learning to navigate a world that does not reward naivety, that punishes those who refuse to see it clearly, that respects only those who understand its actual rules rather than its pretended ones. The mentally unstoppable are not those who never feel doubt, fear, or weakness. They are those who feel all of it and move forward anyway, guided not by emotion but by strategy, not by hope but by calculation, not by what they wish were true, but by what they know is true. You will make mistakes as you implement these laws. You will misjudge situations, misread people, move too soon or too late. This is part of mastery. Every error teaches you something that success cannot. Every failure refines your judgment. Every loss, if you study it honestly, makes you more formidable. The path to becoming mentally unstoppable is not a sprint. It is a long game played over years, sometimes decades. You are not trying to win today. You are trying to position yourself so that winning becomes inevitable, so that your opposition exhausts itself against your patience, so that circumstances align with your goals because you shape them to do so. Most will never walk this path. They will choose comfort over capability, immediate gratification over long-term positioning, the approval of the crowd over the sovereignty of self. They will live reactive lives, pushed by circumstances, manipulated by those who understand these laws, wondering why they never achieve what they believe they deserve. You are different. You would not have listened this far if you were not. Something in you recognizes these truths, resonates with this perspective, understands that the world operates on power dynamics whether you acknowledge them or not. The question is not whether you will participate in the game, you are already in it. The question is whether you will play consciously or remain a piece moved by others. Becoming mentally unstoppable means reaching a state where external circumstances cannot destabilize you, where social pressure cannot manipulate you, where emotional leverage cannot control you. It means building an internal fortress so secure that you can move through the world with complete freedom, constrained only by your own strategic judgment. This is not isolation. You will have relationships, allies, perhaps even people you love. But those relationships will be chosen consciously, maintained strategically, and protected by boundaries that ensure you are never dependent on any single person for your stability or success. This is not cruelty. You will still feel compassion, still help others when it serves a purpose, still build rather than destroy. But your compassion will be directed by intelligence rather than impulse. Your help will create strategic value rather than dependency, and your building will serve your vision rather than others' expectations. This is not emptiness. You will have purpose, direction, goals that matter to you. But those goals will be yours, chosen consciously rather than inherited unconsciously, pursued strategically rather than desperately, achieved through patience and positioning rather than frantic effort. The mentally unstoppable do not dominate every room they enter. They do not need to. They dominate themselves so completely that external dominance becomes unnecessary. They know that true power is not making others obey. True power is making others want to align with you because doing so serves their interests. You are being offered a choice, though it may not feel like one. You can continue operating with the strategies you currently use, the moral frameworks you inherited, the social conditioning that has shaped you. Many of those strategies have served you adequately. You have survived this far. Or you can step into a different paradigm, one where you see the world as it actually functions rather than as you were taught it should function, where you operate with strategic clarity rather than hopeful naivety, where you become the player rather than the piece. This choice has consequences either way. Remaining as you are means accepting that others who understand these laws will continue to have advantage over you, will continue to outmaneuver you in ways you do not fully understand, will continue to achieve outcomes that seem to come easily to them while you struggle. Choosing this path means accepting loneliness at times, accepting that you will see things others do not see, accepting that you cannot share your full strategic thinking, even with those close to you, accepting that power requires sacrifices that comfort does not demand. But it also means freedom, freedom from manipulation, freedom from being controlled by your own emotions, freedom from the anxiety of hoping others will treat you fairly, freedom from the helplessness of watching others shape your life while you react. The laws are here. The framework is clear. What remains is implementation, practice, the slow refinement of strategic thinking until it becomes instinct. You will not master this overnight. Machiavelli spent years observing politics, studying history, analyzing why some leaders thrived while others fell. You are compressing that learning, but you still must do the work. Start small. Choose one interaction today where you apply one of these laws. Perhaps you reveal less than you normally would. Perhaps you respond to provocation with strategic silence rather than emotional reaction. Perhaps you allow yourself to be underestimated rather than correcting someone's low opinion of you. Notice what happens. Notice how it feels to operate from strategy rather than impulse. Notice how others respond when you shift your approach. Notice the small advantages that appear when you stop playing by rules that only you are following. Then expand. Apply these laws in more situations, with more consistency, with greater sophistication. Watch yourself become more effective, more influential, more difficult to manipulate or control. Watch your goals become more achievable as you stop sabotaging yourself with naive assumptions about how the world works. Over time, these laws will integrate into your character. You will not need to consciously remember them. They will become how you naturally think, how you automatically assess situations, how you instinctively respond to challenges. And at that point, you will have become what this teaching aims to create, mentally unstoppable. Not because nothing can hurt you, but because nothing can control you. Not because you have no weaknesses, but because you have hidden them behind strategic strengths. Not because you are perfect, but because you are sovereign. The world is a game of power whether you wish it to be or not. Those who pretend otherwise are either naive or lying. Machiavelli's great crime was not teaching evil. It was revealing truth that comfortable people prefer to deny. The powerful have always known these laws. They simply preferred that you did not. Now you know. What you do with that knowledge determines everything that follows. You can close this away, Return to comfortable illusions, pretend that virtue alone will protect you. Or you can begin the work of becoming someone who understands the game deeply enough to play it masterfully. The choice, as always, is yours, but understand that choosing not to choose is itself a choice. And in the game of power, passivity is not neutrality, it is defeat in slow motion. Become mentally unstoppable. Not someday. Not when circumstances are perfect. Not when you feel ready. Now, with what you have, where you are. Because the world is not waiting for you to prepare. It is moving forward, and those who understand these laws are already positioning themselves while you decide whether to begin. You have the framework, you have the laws, you have the understanding that most never acquire. What remains is action, consistent and strategic, guided by these principles until they become you. And when that transformation completes, when you look back at who you were before you understood these laws, you will feel something between gratitude and disbelief. Gratitude that you found this path. Disbelief that you once moved through the world so exposed, so vulnerable, so easily manipulated. But that version of you served a purpose. That version brought you here. Honor it by becoming what it could not. Honor it by mastering what it feared. Honor it by achieving what it thought impossible. The path to power is not moral or immoral. It simply is. And those who walk it with clear eyes and strategic minds shape the world while others merely inhabit it. You have been given the map. The journey is yours to take.